Hey friends, Joe the Farmer here. In today's video, we've got some new, fancy, nice implements coming in. We've got to make some space in our barn to put this stuff under cover. We've got some old implements we're going to be getting rid of, some antique implements, which I'll show you guys. They're actually pretty cool. And then we have some new stuff, which I'll show you. And I think we'll just kind of do a walk around the yard here, and maybe we'll talk through the different implements we have. Do we use them a lot? What do we pay for them? And if you guys enjoy that, then yeah, maybe we'll just walk around the yard here and talk through those things. And then when the new implements get here, they're legit. I can't wait to show those to you because those are gonna be game changers. I don't know that we'll have time today to use them. I was hoping we can, at least get one of them hooked up and, put it to use, because these things are phenomenal. But we're kind of running out of time because they were supposed to be here in the morning to deliver, but now it's like 2 o'clock. So anyway, let's talk through kind of what we're trying to do here. Now this, I've showed you guys this before. So this is our kind of the side open part of a barn, right? I'm gonna close this in. This needs to be closed in storage, safe storage, secure storage, but we've had just a bunch of stuff here under cover to keep it out of the sun and the rain. A lot of people think that the rain is the worst, but really it's the sun. The sun is what you have to be careful for with your equipment, because anything with hoses or seals, those UV rays will destroy it. So I usually have like a tiller here, which I'll show you that here in a minute, and some of the things that have moving parts or gearboxes. Try and keep that under cover, but I've let things get away from me, y'all. I just have. Charmin, the old F350 right here, this thing should be undercover, not this old crappy, tilt trailer. So we're gonna fix that today. But let's talk through some of these implements. So this right here is a cultivator. This is a Glenwood Equipment cultivator. This is probably about, I don't know, 6 feet wide. And I bought this for probably 175 bucks, thinking that we would use this as well as the other cultivator, which is over here. I think I paid about the same for this. This may be a little bit wider. This looks like it's about 7 feet wide, but I didn't pay much for either of these, maybe 200 bucks for this one. That's when we first bought this place. It was a while ago, and the truth is we have too many rocks. You can't use this stuff out here. It's nice heavy steel. This stuff is probably older than I am, but there's just too many rocks. You can't really cultivate here. If somebody's in sandy soil, my buddy Hank down in Florida, he could actually do great with something like this. But here in Tennessee, we grow rocks. We're not doing that. Maybe Tony and Tony's Tractor Venture, maybe he wants these things, so he could probably use these out there in West Tennessee, because they always say they don't have any rocks. But box blade, 6 foot, heavy duty box blade. This thing, you've seen me do a lot of gravel driveways with it. Have no complaints about it. It's just a box blade. Front blade, rear blade. If you're gonna buy a box blade, you get something heavy duty, get it with the scarifiers, and get it with a front and a rear blade, because you can actually do some pretty good stuff with that rear blade too. Moving on, we have our rotary cutter. So this is a medium duty rotary cutter. This thing is, gosh, it's got to be 5 years old, 6 years old. And we put it through some stuff, but a lot of people want to talk to you about the gearbox warranty. Gearboxes don't matter. They matter to some extent, but really what matters is the deck. This deck is rusting and it's flaking off because, there wasn't any protection under it. As those blades go around, they'll kind of round off on the top, and the deck will wear out before that gearbox ever will. All right, right here we have a 2-bottom plow. This is a Dearborn, which I believe was owned by Ford at the time. This is a Dearborn 2-bottom plow. Y'all correct me if I'm saying any of this stuff wrong, because again, I'm kind of shooting from the hip here. I'm going with what I was told. Dearborn Motor Corporation. So I believe it was owned by Ford. I don't know. Y'all tell me who that was owned by, but very heavy 2-bottom plow. Again, I may keep this just to try it out here, but it's almost like a sacrificial lamb if I do that, because I'm going to break those blades on these rocks. And I hate to break it when somebody actually could use it. So I don't know, I'm undecided on that. I paid like 200 bucks for it. Not a lot of money. All right, so that's the old, and I'll start talking some of the new. This does not have any moving parts on it, so I don't know that it needs to stay under cover, but this is our new Land Pride SVL 97 skid steer bucket. Has, corner guards, replaceable blade. This is not what you see made in China. This is actually a pretty nice bucket. This thing was $2,800, y'all. These buckets are expensive. Now, the good thing about if you own a skid steer and you're buying a new skid steer or a used skid steer or just new to you, if you already have a bucket, you don't need to buy another one. I didn't have a bucket, so I had to buy this one. And I didn't want to buy a junky one because we're gonna do a bunch of grading out here. And the last thing I need to do is start tearing stuff up and starting over, because that's expensive. Landscaping cart. This thing has fold down sides. This is probably gonna go. Don't really need it, don't really use it. It still has some life in it. You know, it's rusted, but has a pin attached in the front. But I just don't use it. And this is something that if we don't use it, I think it's time for it to go. Again, we've got some expensive new stuff coming, some fancy new stuff that's going to be really cool to use. And out with the old, in with the new. This does not need to be undercover. Well, tractor bucket, similar to the Land Pride. You know, if you have a tractor, you need a bucket. And the thing about tractor buckets that people don't really tell you is that when you have a tractor over, I don't know, 55, 65 horsepower, I just don't think you really use the bucket as much as you do with a smaller tractor. I could be wrong, but any loader work you're going to use with a machine that size, I just think you're going to use a skid steer, or you're going to use a loader, not necessarily a tractor loader. So that's why, I mean, I've seen a ton of these big tractors with the buckets look pretty clean. This one we've used some, but you know, it's not near what you'd see on some others. You know, it still has a whole lot of life in it. All right, coming around, this 𝐸𝑚𝑎𝑖𝑙 brush mulcher, this is the MP560. My buddy Tony from Tony's Tractor Adventures has used these. Hank Hamilton, Hamiltonville Farm. I've seen this on Tractor Time with Tim. You know, these guys, I'm yet to find anyone who really knows equipment have one bad thing to say about it. And listen, these guys are a partner of the channel. They sent this to me, so you guys can think that I'm gonna be biased. That's fine, I understand. Human nature is weird, but yeah, we have mulched with it, we've mowed with it. I'd really like to kind of reset these skids right here and actually try tilling with it. Because if this thing could till when there's not a bunch of rocks, and I know that's not what it's made for, but if you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna use this on a farm, if this can till, I could totally get rid of my tiller. You know, I could sell my tiller and just use this for light mowing, mulching, and tilling. I mean, 𝐸𝑚𝑎𝑖𝑙 may get mad at me for saying that, but listen, we're all trying to get the most out of everything we have, and if you purchase one of these, I really do think you could use it as a tiller. I could be, again, your buddy's crazy. Joe the farmer's a little crazy, but here's kind of the hookups. Not a whole lot to it. It has, you know, use some of your rear remotes to raise and lower this door from extra mulching. I don't know, great implement. Excellent, excellent piece of machinery. Now we have my grapple slash 𝑚𝑎𝑖𝑙. I gripe a lot about this thing. I've had multiple leaks with it. Haven't been super happy with it, but haven't been angry enough at it to get rid of it. So, I don't know, it's fine. It's been fine for a while, and it's okay. It'll do its thing. It's just, I don't love the design of it. Really, since it was new, it's an awkward, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Kubota SVL 97, this thing has like 5 hours on it. We just got this machine. This thing is a hoss, it's a beast. It's probably the midlife crisis mobile, but it's gonna do a whole lot of work out here. And of course they have pallet forks, which are the handiest attachment anyone can ever have. I paid $475 for these pallet forks. Same ones now are over $1,000. And good news, folks, there's no inflation. So anyway, we'll leave it at that, but pallet forks are so handy. Pallet forks first, grapple second. You may disagree with me, but I'm telling you, pallet forks are everything. We're gonna use them today to unload that truck. Speaking of rototiller, here's my rototiller, 6 feet wide. I have a quick attachment here, as you can see by these little bushings, but it's been great. Just cleaned it off, gave it a bath. It's been sitting in the barn with a bunch of barn dust on it for about, I don't know, 6 months. So probably at some point this season, drain the fluid from it. This isn't going anywhere. We'll keep this and re-grease it. You know, check the fluids on it and everything. A lot of the stuff is supposed to be lifetime, but I don't know that I buy that. But anyway, so that is the tiller, and then we've got a bunch of other things here that these will find homes as we're trying to figure out where these new implements are going to go. So stacking the implements will be a chore, but we have to make sure we have the nice stuff under cover. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera here, and we will pick up when the truck shows up with the new stuff, and we'll tell you exactly what it is. We're not going to make you sit in suspense. We're going to go right into it. So should be here soon, hopefully real soon, because the day's running out. Thank you for guiding me.
Well, I just...
It's my buddy Guido, as always.
Just in case
Appreciate you.
Every time you go off the wrong path, I'm here to steer you right.
More ways than one. All right, I'm going to show all our friends at home what we just picked up, and I'll catch you all later. Thank you, Guido. Bye-bye. Best neighbors ever. I told you earlier that I would tell you what we have delivered today. It was at 2 o'clock and it's now almost 7 o'clock. So, however, 100% props to the driver of that truck, as he was a amazing professional, super nice guy. We don't always get the nicest people out here when we have deliveries because, you know, our driveway's challenging. We're in the country. But I'm sorry if it's a little bit dark, but again, the sun's starting to go down. But check this out. So 𝑀𝑎𝑖𝑙 has sent us to test and demo a tree saw. This is a hydraulic tree saw. If you go on their website, it is the 530, I believe. What is it? The DSA 530. So this massive saw head, I mean, look at this thing. This thing is like a quarter, 3/4 an inch thick. It has carbide tips. Like, this is insane. Articulates, will go 180 degrees. Hooks up to the skid steer. Probably should have said that. These are skid steer attachments. And I don't know, just insanely cool. Very, very hardcore piece of equipment. I'm really excited about this thing. Just as excited about this auger. I'm going to sneak you in here because I can't get in there, but that auger, look at that thing. The motor on that thing, the build quality. I mean, I'm telling you all, yes, we have found 𝑀𝑎𝑖𝑙 through YouTube, and they are partners of the channel. However, I mean, I don't know that I would ever, if I'm going out buying this stuff, I mean, that's the only place I'm going. I mean, this stuff is the best built equipment I've ever seen as far as implements go. Insanely impressed with the build quality. And, you know, this stuff's expensive equipment, but we have big projects, we have big plans of this stuff, and we'll demo it and we'll tell them what we think. We'll tell you guys what we think. We've got the implements kind of organized today. The yard is looking good. Some of the stuff we're going to sell is still out, but you know, it is what it is. Probably should have put my brush cutter under cover because it's going to rain for like the next month, but I think we'll be okay. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching this video. You know, this is what we do on the farm. You know, I bought an expensive skid steer, and y'all probably, you know, deserve to know why. And, you know, as we're going through, you know, talking through these implements and the equipment we're going to use and kind of out with the old, in with the new, you know, we've just realized really over 7, almost 8 years of being on this property that this property needs high quality stuff. Like the cheaper stuff, we try to cheap out on a lot of things, and we got burned too many times. And sometimes, as I've always said, man, cheap is expensive sometimes. You know, you can't always find the cheapest thing in the world and be successful with it. But man, the future is bright. I cannot wait to share some other things with you. But God is good, and sun's going down. I'm gonna leave you all with that. But appreciate y'all watching this channel. Appreciate you watching this video. Appreciate you watching and coming along with us through all of our journeys. Man, it's almost 4 years now. Next month will be 4 years on YouTube, and that's wild. Like, it's absolutely crazy to think it's been that long, because it feels like it was just yesterday. And I've gotten to know a lot of you, the friendships I've made. It's truly just a miracle. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching. I will catch you in the next one. Joe the Farmer. We out.